it's it's not impossible to lose weight eating prepackaged foods or processed foods. There's nothing about them that makes you metabolically incapable of burning fat.
Dude, we had a client and she got in shape for a movie, and she was so busy that two of the meals every day were like prepackaged frozen meals like this. She's like, this is what I can do.
Bringing you a reasoned approach to health and fitness. This is the thePhiLife podcast.
Welcome to the thePhiLife podcast. I'm John Barban. With me is Brad Pilon, and today we're going to answer a question that came up. Is very specifically, can you get in shape or lose weight eating lean cuisine?
Yeah, so frozen dinners, basically, right?
Yeah, I don't think it means branded lean cuisine. I think the question sort of means, can you lose weight, get in shape, eating processed, prepackaged meals, frozen dinners, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, the simple answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just food. Maybe not. Yeah. It's probably not ideal for long term, but if it fits your lifestyle and you can handle it, and you can pay attention to the macronutrients. Like, first of all, you have to have an idea of where your macros need to be in the first place, or your total calories need to be in the first place. If the goal is weight loss, in most cases, these questions are always centered around burning fat.
Yeah.
But there's nothing inherently wrong, or it's not impossible to lose weight eating prepackaged foods or processed foods. There's nothing about them that makes you metabolically incapable of burning fat.
Dude, we had a client and she got in shape for a movie, and she was so busy that two of the meals every day were like prepackaged frozen meals like this. She's like, this is what I can do. And she literally sent, these are all the ones I like. And we just kind of arranged them based on the protein content, the added sugar, and the sodium. And I'm like, hey, these two, never these two together, like that kind of thing. And that was like 8 or 9 weeks, and then in shape for movies. So it's doable because most of those prepackaged meals, they have the nutrition facts now. So you know your proteins, you know your carb, you know your fat, you know your added sugar, because it'll be sugars right there. And you know, the one thing you have to watch with these is the sodium, because they need the kind of extra preservative. They tend to be really high in sodium. So you just have to watch that, right? You don't want like multi-grams per day just from those two meals, but completely doable. You have to, maybe jump around brands, right? But you can find enough with enough variety that you can absolutely do that. I mean, is it ideal? Is it something you want to brag about online? No. But would it get the job done? Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would be the counter argument? Why would someone not want to do this?
Typically what you would assume is that they have a ton of added preservatives in them, and that's why they are the way they are. When in reality, a lot of them are just flash frozen, and they don't have a lot of preservatives because they are in fact frozen. And so they're not as bad as you would assume. When it comes to fruits and vegetables and their polyphenol content, you don't lose polyphenols through freezing. So your freezer jams, etc., have all the polyphenols of strawberries. So they're not what people think. They always think they're kind of like robbed of their nutrients, and they don't tend to be. The main problem is the higher sodium, and that's just an extra safety thing, because pathogens don't like to grow in like a high sodium environment. Even though they're frozen, it's just kind of an extra safety step. But in general, nowadays they don't have the extra preservatives that you think they would. They just have kind of that 1960s frozen TV dinner aura to them that just screams not healthy. But in general, they're meals that have been made and then flash frozen, packaged, and go. You could make the argument for the microplastics, right, for microwaving them or heating them up, etc.
Everything's got. But then take them out and put them in a plate, and you've at least removed that problem of heating up the plastics.
Yeah, that's not going to, by not eating those, you're not removing the microplastic burden on your life, because it's just everywhere now.
It's everywhere. So, I mean, you can take the step to just not cook it in the plastic container to avoid adding even more, but that's an easy step to take. I guess some of the other detractor points would be the seed oils that might be.
You get
some of these.
Break down the ingredients. Yeah.
Right. So break down the ingredients. The thing is, to Brad's point, you can hunt around and find ones that have less of the added ingredients that you don't want.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm actually going to not reverse my position, but it may not be ideal from an aesthetics, like how your food looks, but I'm just remembering it was dirt simple to work with those meals for meal prep. right? Because it's standard. Like if it says 25 grams of protein, it's going to have between 22 and 27 grams of protein in it. Like you're not guessing, you're not trying to figure out what it is. We've talked about how, a large muffin, well, it could be this big or this big, depending on your opinion of what large is. And so you'd enter your calories in differently. Whereas the calories are set, the protein, like everything is set. So once you've gone through the frozen foods that are available in your area or at the places you like to shop, and you've broken them down for too many seed oils or too much sugar or too much sodium, and you have a collection of them, if your goal is just to diet down and lose some weight, and you just need help with it because you're not good at cooking, or you eat out a lot as an
Or just
alternative.
measuring out food is just it just becomes super tedious.
And the difference here is if I order in, I still got to weigh that all, right? And try to figure out, because
most people give up on that really fast. Like the idea of weighing out everything you eat.
I'm just taking out of a package and heating it up. Yes, I wouldn't want to do that for years and years on end. But if I've got 12 weeks and I'm really just trying to commit to getting in shape, I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna go as far as good idea if you can pick the right ones.
It's pretty actually easy to work with. And if the macronutrients don't quite add up the way you want, then you can just add a little bit more chicken to it or something if you need more protein. Or you can, it's not hard to notice where the macros are in one of those meals. And if one of the meals just has more carbs than you want, then just cut the carb portion in half and just save it for later. And now let's say it said there was 60 grams of carbs, and it's like a serving of mashed potatoes or something. Just cut it in half, put the other half in the fridge, and now you're down to 30 grams. So to Brad's point, it's super easy to work with them because all of the total calories and the macronutrients are laid out, so you know what you're eating, which most people don't know what they're eating as far as the macronutrient breakdown and the total calorie breakdown.
And so are they as good as having a personal chef making everything organic and fresh? No, of course not. No. But if you don't have that and your other option is takeout or nothing or a bag of chips, they're fantastic. They're miles better. So I now in thinking my way through it, as long as you've gone through the ingredient list and you're watching for the main things you want to watch for in terms of structuring a diet based on calories and protein, if you don't have the time or the know-how, it's a great option. And I'm even betting that it's probably financially the cheaper option.
Yeah, and it's easier.
Yeah.
And also, whenever we've had people who make like diet meals or bodybuilding meals or weight loss meals, it's just a chef making these things all over again, but with fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
And you just pay a premium for them. We've had a few people. The gym I go to here has that. They've got a fridge full of these things. A gym I used to go to, there was a chef that worked out there, and he offered a meal service to people, and you would just pick like the various types of protein you want, and he'd make up things, different meals at the calorie count you wanted and at the protein count you wanted, it was just the fresh, like whole food version of one of these frozen meals. Yeah. Now, it was expensive because it was good stuff and you had to go pick it up right after it was made. But it's just the same idea. It's a controlled amount of calories, and it's an understood amount of macronutrients and the macronutrient ratio. And it's up to you to decide. You don't even need to eat the whole thing. You can, at least you know what you're starting with. If you have a 500 calorie meal with 40 grams of protein in it, well, you could just look at it and know where the protein is. If it's like a piece of fish or a piece of chicken.
Yeah, you'll get a good idea of serving sizes, right? After a month of that, you're like, I know exactly how much meat and potato I want, etc.
Yeah, then you can relate what these serving sizes are to the calories in them to when you cook. And when you prepare food, you won't even need to measure. You can just eyeball it and compare to your Lean Cuisine or whatever meals you landed on. And you start making your own food. You can look and go, oh, the meals I would make are twice as big as this thing. Yeah, so if this prepared meal was 700 calories, I was likely making a 1,500 calorie dish before, because I would put on my plate twice as much as this little meal tray has to offer. Mm-hmm. So you'll eventually learn. You can eventually just eyeball total amount of calories and roughly the amount of protein and carbs in a meal, at least with those whatever's on the plate, the vegetable, whatever the stuff happens to be. You can translate that to your own cooking. Exactly. So that's another valuable thing you can learn just from eating those type of meals.
Yeah. And then, you make a rule based on those meals, and then you have snacks, and your snacks can be fruits or vegetables at a certain amount. And then you can be full all day with that, and you know exactly what's coming up. And if you're looking forward to it, and if you're not, you can supplement in. But I think it's a very viable way to do it. I don't think it's a lifestyle, but I think it's a great way to definitely make some headway into losing weight and then kind of building off of that.
Yeah.
So
And
yes, you can.
people, when you're trying to lose weight, it's an effort regardless. So anything that makes it simpler and easier is going to help out. And if just pre-packaged, pre-planned meals that you don't need to think about, and you can just, that's 500 calories, 40 grams of protein. I'm good. I know that part of my day is already taken care of.
It's going to be
go
monotonous.
a long way. Yes.
So don't make the monotony complicated. Make the monotony simple. Yeah. And that's why people like on the carnivore diet, what are you going to have today? I don't know, eggs in the morning, steak, lunch steak at night. They simplify the monotony, right? And they enjoy it. That's the foods they like. So if you're going to diet down or just try to eat healthily, then you've got to find a way to embrace the monotony, but make it simple. You make that monotony complex, and now it's monotonous and difficult. That's no go.
Yeah, and this is for the express purpose of a short-term goal of losing weight.
That was the question. Yeah. It wasn't, can I eat them all for the rest of my life?
We're talking if you need to lose 20 pounds in 3 months, let's say, what's the simplest, straightest line to that? And one of the questions was, can I do that with like eating frozen dinners, Lean Cuisine? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we've seen people do it quite effectively, as to Brad's point. So, and don't get caught up. Well, that's not healthy. It's not meant to be your long-term strategy. It's a short-term. Simplicity is the key here, and taking the thinking out of it and taking the effort out of it.
Exactly.
So that's a good one. I don't really know where else to go with that.
No, I kind of went all over the place in that one. I came up with it's actually.
But either way, it's prepared, packaged meals where you know the amount of calories and the macros makes it the simplest. It could be as rudimentary as the frozen ones you get in the store, or the fancy ones I was telling you about. If your gym has it, a lot of gyms have that as a meal service now, where they have the exact calorie count and all that stuff.
Ads on Facebook for them too.
Yeah,
right?
there's all kinds. We tried one called Factor. They're all over the place. You can get these things. They're just kind of get expensive. The more the more fresh they are, the more expensive they get. But with that said, you do know exactly what you're eating. Like everything's controlled. So you can go real cheap with the frozen ones, or you can go real fancy with the kind of the fresh ones that are done by someone who's like fitness oriented. But either way, they make the process of eating for weight loss way simpler than you getting the measuring cups out and doing all of that stuff. Like that just makes it so much more tedious.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Beauty.
I think a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
All right. So for Brad Pilon, I'm John Barban, and that's your thePhiLife podcast.